I'm Lizanne Flynn. I'm a master healer who holds space for any earthling as they reunite body and soul. I am a bridge for relationships between all species so that the heart bond becomes stronger, deeper, and more loving. I serve in the roles of animal communicator, medium, and medical intuitive, and I use the tools of shamanic journeying and soul retrieval to support all earthlings in their recovery from past trauma. I'm certified as a canine massage therapist and Reiki master teacher. This is the Animals iView podcast. Each of the species with whom I've had the honor of partnering during my career has unique qualities that exist most certainly on the physical plane, right? Some have fur, others have feathers or scales. Some can only fly, while still others can only swim. Some are counted among the members of our group, apex predators and keystone species, and other species stand firmly in the space of prey as animals, yet even they are predator to other earthlings such as plants. To a certain extent, and not unlike the biological taxonomy developed in the 18th century, the energetic fingerprint of each species can likewise also be categorized. If we needed to categorize such a thing, because even as I wrote those words about taxonomy, there was a fairly loud chorus of voices in my ear saying, "We don't need no stinking taxonomy." To their point, the more simple we can make it for ourselves and for them, the better. As a refresher, taxonomy is the branch of biology that classifies all living things. It was developed by the Swedish botanist Carolus Linnaeus, and his system of classification is still used today. Linnaeus invented binomial nomenclature, the system of giving each type of organism a genus and a species name. He also developed a classification system called the taxonomic hierarchy, which today has 8 ranks from general to specific: domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and finally, species. So as an example, we have the classification hierarchy for dogs, includes the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, and then breeds. Dog belongs in the Animalia kingdom that is characterized by the presence of cells without cell walls, the ability to move, and the ability to ingest food. Next comes the Chordata phylum, includes all animals with a notochord, a dorsal nerve cord, and gill slits at some point during their development. Dogs belong to this phylum because they have a notochord as embryos. Mammalia class follows, which is characterized by the presence of mammary glands, hair, and a 4-chambered heart. Dogs belong to the subclass Eutheria, which includes placental mammals that have a longer gestation period than marsupials. Next up is order, a level of classification that divides animals into groups with similar characteristics. Dogs belong to the order Carnivora, which includes mammals that are primarily meat eaters. Within the Carnivora order, dogs are further classified into 2 suborders: Caniformia, which includes dogs, wolves, bears, and others, and Feliformia, which includes cats, hyenas, and others. And I bet you didn't know dog and cat shared the same meat eater order biologically, right? I didn't. Moving down the line to get closer to adorable Fido is family, a level of classification that groups animals based on their shared characteristics and genetic makeup. Dogs belong to the Canidae family, which includes wolves, foxes, and other wild canids. Within the Canidae family, dogs are further classified into different subfamilies, such as the Caninae subfamily, which includes domestic dogs, wolves, and jackals. Coming up next, the genus is a level of classification that groups animals based on their shared physical and genetic characteristics. which is where actually normally I start. Dogs belong to the Canis genus, which includes wolves, coyotes, and other wild canids. Within the Canis genus, there are several species, including lupus, wolves, latrans, which are coyotes, and familiaris, domestic dogs. Interestingly, species is described as the most specific level of classification and groups animals based on their shared physical and genetic characteristics. Dogs belong to the Canis familiaris species, which includes all domestic dogs. Wild dogs, such as wolves, belong to different species within the Canis genus. Then, at long last, we arrive at the place of breeds that are different varieties of domestic dogs that have been selectively bred for specific traits, such as size, temperament, and coat type. And as all y'all know, there are hundreds of different dog breeds, each with unique characteristics and qualities. Those who have worked with me, at least on a dog level, know that I am fond of saying you can't take genetics out of a dog. So, if you have a working breed dog, it's important that this animal have a job or multiple jobs to do on an ongoing basis. They won't be happy, and you won't be happy, or be able to have that work itch scratched without having a job to do, and much more importantly, a working relationship with you, their guardian. They need you to tell them to do something for you. They need you to send them to work. The same goes, though, for any species with whom you share your life, even if your physical interaction with them isn't sharing a bed. They deserve for you to know how their body works, what's healthy for them and what's not, and how to create an overall environment in which they can thrive, even if it's just on a situation-to-situation basis. Because, newsflash, you are in charge of that. And looking back at the extensive list of classifications for just one species, dog, on planet Earth, I can see what the animals were saying about their energetic fingerprint, that further analysis wasn't necessary. I heartily agree. Because while it does give us good information of the physical forms that we share the world with, it doesn't speak at all to the emotional or mental relationships that we formed with specifically animal companions down through the ages. Because even though we form individual relationships and have soul contracts with our companion animals within the scope of a lifetime, we also do so based on a template of sorts of taxonomic structure based on how our ancestors lived with, worked with, and loved other species before our time. My brain immediately goes to raptors, such as hawk and falcon, in whom we also have the relationship of falconry. We can put bee and the apiarists among us in the same category, and as well cow, pig, sheep, and goat, just to name a few. It's that individual species catalog of wisdom carried forth within their genetics that they pass down to their descendants of how our collective relationship with them is evolving, or not. The foundation of which is the energy that we can share with them, that's based in unified duality, balance, and partnership, and just how far we go in understanding ecosystem is far better than ecosystem. At any rate, and on a one-to-one basis, which I'm sensing is the far more important criteria, is how we surrender to our vulnerabilities that surface during our shared lifetimes with them, and how much we embrace the shift of vibration that flows in a Mobius strip as we walk each other home, to quote Ram Dass. How invested are we in learning who they are on a soul level, contained within a vibrant physical vehicle that's so very different than ours? On our side, I think we're more concerned with how to get more out of them, how to raise them better, because we use most of the species that I mentioned, or their bodies to be more precise, to sustain our bodies and to make our lives easier and better. A sidestep away yet closely related is another group of animals from our history, those to whom we refer as beasts of burden, such as donkey, mule, and horse, the latter of which has captured our imagination and senses far away from the farmlands they plow and the equipment they carried for us on our land journeys. In my humble opinion, horse is unique in that while they were clearly used by humans to carry things for us, plow fields, get us from point A to point B before cars were invented, they also have remained steadfastly center in our hearts, and particularly the hearts of usually preteen girls, myself included, that formed the lore of our childhoods. Galloping away on our trusty steed to do battle with whoever wanted us to do something we really didn't want to do. Horse appears as a magical linchpin to our present selves and our future, more mature selves. Horse acts as trusted friend, protector, teacher, and so much more that I don't put them in the classification of companion animal. I put them in their own class of partner, and here's why. Their physical bodies are much larger than ours, and as such, it's not easy for us to control them as we might a dog or a cat, or more accurately, attempt to control. We stand to sustain greater bodily injury should we not figure out how to, quote, horse ourselves in partnership with them. Using the term guardian is good and preferably not owner, which is what most of us use. I really do think partner is the word that best encompasses what is my standard refrain with all animals anyway. When you shift your energy, they will shift theirs. First, though, there will be the slightly painful realization that we are out of sync with our partner horse because of what their behavior in its physically oversized form is mirroring back to us. Ouchie. They will meet you exactly in the place where you are, with all of your physical, emotional, and mental energies intact, and they will not hesitate, if they think it's necessary, to show you your fear right off the bat by pinning their ears and backing away when you attempt to halter them. Or they might show you your inner sadness by creating a situation where you get furiously angry first and then burst into tears seconds later. They might show you your bashful yet fierce 13-year-old self by presenting just a glimmer of the possibility of working with them so that you forget yourself and lean into the rushing wind with them, gloriously free at last. And no doubt they will shift uneasily under the weight of the pockets of grief you're unknowingly carrying with you, perhaps from the last transition of another beloved animal family member. You don't know you're carrying these hard pebbles that fall from your pockets only to get stuck in their sensitive hooves because, well, gosh, Fido or Fluffy transitioned over a year ago. I mean, yeah, I miss them, but what good does missing them do? Animals are far better at moving through the grieving process than humans, in my opinion. They embrace their grief fully, allowing themselves time to weep and wail, to not eat or to overeat, to sleep most of the day or not sleep at all. They understand that accessing these regrets, guilts, angers, etc., about anything really, is so very important when you are meeting another sentient and highly intelligent being of a different species, heart to heart, soul to soul, and body to body. Horse demands that you meet them in your most powerful form, vulnerable, so that together you can choose how your ride today will be, moment to moment if necessary. Horse will hold space for your grief as you empty your pockets and skip any remaining stones across a clear pond so you can watch the ripple effect of how grief expressed dissipates eventually, leaving your body feeling lighter as you climb back into the saddle once more. Because that is most assuredly what horse requests that you do. They say, continue the ride and let us share the good times together once more. And at least that's how the animals and horse see it. Thanks for listening today. Leave a review and be sure to subscribe to this podcast. I offer all new clients a free 15-minute consultation. To schedule online, go to lizanneflynn.com. Come find me on social media, Facebook, X-Twitterverse, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I encourage you to sign up for my quarterly newsletter on my website, where I also post notices for upcoming events, the starting date of courses in the Animals iView Academy, and online psychic fairs. The episodes of this podcast are available on my YouTube channel, complete with subtitles. You'll find that link in my podcast footer, and be sure to subscribe. This has been the Animals iView podcast. I'll see you next time.